Is this your former husband?
Yes.
With regard to, and then I'll get to both of your cases because I have complaints and a countersuit for exactly the same thing. That each of you allege, the mother-in-law and the former daughter-in-law allege that the other has harassed them, caused them to spend money for legal fees, yada, yada, yada. All ridiculousness. So, but I want to get some of the background. So you lived together for a long time. You have an 8-year-old child. How many grandchildren does Miss Renate have?
Grandchildren, I believe 2.
You have this granddaughter.
Correct.
This is a granddaughter. And where is your other grandchild?
She lives in Georgia.
And you live...
Here in Southern California.
And Miss Paredes lives in Southern California?
Correct.
Right. So this is the only grandchild that's near you?
Correct.
Did you have a settlement agreement in your divorce decree, or was this a case tried with regard to custody and visitation and support?
Well, we went to court a few times, but in the end, we agreed.
Okay, what did you agree to with regard to custody?
We finally agreed to 50-50 on legal and physical custody.
And how does that work with an 8-year-old in school? Do you live close by to each other?
Kind of, maybe like 12 miles apart. As far as school, from my understanding, they're late a lot.
No,
So
that's not what I asked you.
Oh, okay.
How is the week divided?
Oh, I see. It's 1 week on, 1 week off.
And when your daughter is with her father, does her father live with his mother?
Yes.
I live with my son. I moved into his house. I live with him.
You live together?
Correct.
Fine. So you have 3 minutes to tell me what the problem is and why you think you have a lawsuit.
2015, she brought me to court, filed the TRO, was granted the restraining order for both sides to stay away from each other.
Okay, so just a second. So she brought you to court on a restraining order.
Yes.
She made an application for a temporary restraining order.
Yes.
Is that correct? And you were served with a temporary restraining order?
Not served necessarily. I was told through my son's lawyer that I was being served.
What were the allegations in that application for an order of protection?
She claimed I threatened to stab her in the back with a knife.
And was that case tried or settled?
Well, it wasn't tried. I think it was
a final protective order granted?
Yes, for 3 years.
And were they mutual protective orders?
Yes.
So after she filed an application for a protective order, did you file an application for a protective order?
No, because the order was a joint order.
No. Wasn't a joint order. She went first.
Correct.
She filed an application alleging that you threatened her.
Alleging.
Then either one of two things happened. Either you filed for a protective order and both those cases are joined together, or when you go to court because the judge is maybe a little bit lazy, maybe one person has a lawyer and says, listen, we don't have to try this. Why don't you both just agree not to annoy or harass each other for 3 years, and then we can save ourselves a lot of time and a lot of expense. So either one of two things happened. Either you filed for a protective order after she served you in 2015. Did you do that?
I did not know.
Well, then if you did not, then what happened is the second thing happened on my menu, which was maybe judge is a little bit lazy. Did you have a lawyer?
Yes.
And did her lawyer speak to you?
No, he spoke to my lawyer.
So you both had lawyers?
I had a family lawyer because it was her son's family lawyer, and they already knew each other. So that's how, with our custody case, so that's how they spoke to each other. So my lawyer, my family lawyer, had to get involved in this case because of that.
Well, it didn't have to because of that, because you weren't a defendant or a respondent in that case. Mm-hmm. Only she was. Mm-hmm. But you brought your lawyer with you, and the two lawyers talked to each other. Mm-hmm. Did the two lawyers also talk to the judge?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. Right. So mutual protective orders were granted?
Yes.
Great. Even though no case had been filed against you?
No.
So, I still don't hear a lawsuit.
I have not talked to this woman since 2009. So the allegation that she put that I stabbed her in the back was something that I said...
Mr. Renate, let me explain something to you. You had a lawyer.
Correct.
If you wanted to fight that order of protection, listen to me carefully. If you wanted to fight that order of protection, you should have said to your lawyer, I want a trial.
Okay.
Not say, I consent to an order of protection.
But it wasn't really about that. It was about my granddaughter. She filed the restraining order against both me and my son separate, had two separate judges sign it, and he couldn't have my daughter in visitation because I lived in the house with him. So I went to court to fight the visitation.